So the sample came back and it wasn't decent. It was not nice at all. It broke my
So
heart.
hi Martha, and welcome to the breakout room. And I appreciate you coming this morning to share some stories about your brand. So can you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah, hey everyone. My name is Marthe Richie. I am a London-based a luxury designer, and I am launching a business this year which will consist of luxury Italian and Congolese lovely garments.
Oh, great, man. And I love fashion. I know it might be hard to tell from what I'm wearing, but I love fashion. So tell us a bit about it. Is it African inspired or is it just normal fashion?
Yes, it is. It is heavily inspired by my two cultures, which is Italian and Congolese. And I'm using the Italian quality and garment making. That's my inspiration from Italy. But then I'm also using like the beautiful colors from Congo. So you'll see a lot of green, a lot of earthly colors that you do see in Congo, and yeah, you'll see it in my designs. So as the person is wearing it, they're wearing two completely different cultures, countries, but it's meshed into one. So it's a fusion of both. And I
Oh,
think, yeah, I think I'm going to make home very proud
of
of
course,
all of this.
the question that viewers will be wondering, why you're not wearing it or one of them now?
I've got some dresses upstairs,
Okay.
and it didn't even come across my mind. I think you would have seen the straps only. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it would have been nice to see. But yeah, maybe later down in the video, we'll get to see some of your designs. So, can I ask you what inspired you and why fashion? And is it women's fashion or men's?
It is women,
Mm.
starting with women's, and then I'll venture into men as well. So I've always wanted to be a fashion designer. So ever since I was a little girl in Italy, I used to cut up my clothes, and my mom would be quite angry because yeah, these are like bought clothes, but then I'd ruin them with my scissors, and I would just create these designs and like yeah, just out of my own will. So that was always a passion that I had. And so that I can't remember what age I was, but I was probably under 10. And now as a 28-year-old woman, I'm living that dream. So it's super important for me. And I think that that young girl would be very proud. And yeah, so wanting to represent two of my cultures and bringing this to life is actually a dream come true.
Okay, then great. If you have not subscribed, please, it's getting so embarrassing that you're coming to my channel, watching all this good content, and you're still not subscribed. So please subscribe, hit that thumbs up button. So it looks like you've just started your journey. I'm going to take you back briefly. So have you got any training, education around this area, or is it just a passion?
Yeah, so I've done art, so anything artistic. I've done that for 6 years. And then I ventured into university. I studied fashion buying.
Oh,
So it told me being a fashion designer, you're not going to make any money. So I thought to myself, let me study the fashion or the business side of fashion. And I looked into buyers and how much they were earning. So I said, okay. So I moved from Ireland to the UK,
oh.
and I studied fashion buying. I did that for 4 years. And then I worked my way up to head of buying at 23 years old.
I think that's exciting because that to me sounds a bit like mastery. So what you've done there is you've understood the business part because trust me, anybody can create anything. The part where people struggle most is being able to take it to market, to sell it, the business side of things. Because if you can't sell what you're making, creating, then really it's just a hustle, it's just a hobby. Tell us what that was like. So do you have a business plan? How did your idea map itself out?
Yeah, I started end of November 2022, and
Hmm.
I had an idea. And I started researching and praying. And then I started getting designs in mind. So I started, jotting them down and yeah, basically curating this idea. And then as we stepped into 2023, that's where the idea started getting legs and arms. So I was contacting manufacturers, suppliers, I was visiting seamstresses that could help me make the samples. I've had very high moments, but also very low moments. But there's one thing that I've learned is to fail forward.
You talked about the design. So where are you with the business now?
Heavily active on social media, and if you were to follow, you'd see that I'm updating you guys every
Oh,
single
that's
week on
great.
what's going on, where my business is at right now. So I've had to re-strategize. If I had gone to my old strategy, I would have launched in May. It
Okay.
would have been beautiful satin dresses, colorful, beautiful Italian and Congolese dresses. Unfortunately, that hasn't gone to plan. So now I've re-strategized. I'm going to launch later in the year. I'm super excited about this one. So I think this is going to be quite big. I can see it already. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. I want to take you back a bit. So you mentioned the challenge and the reason you strategized. Will you be able to go into a bit of detail about why, what happened? And it's great
Yeah.
that you didn't give up and you actually used that opportunity to pivot. So
Yeah, so the sample came back and it wasn't decent. It was not nice at all. It broke my heart. You know, it's like a baby.
okay.
Like my business is a
Yeah.
baby. I want to take care of it. And then I've handed it over to a person who I've trusted. And unfortunately, it came back not what I expected. I said to myself, I'd never buy anything like that. So why would my customer? We went back to the drawing board, and now I actually see it as a blessing in disguise. I had to fail forward.
And sometimes it's better to fail at the beginning of the business. Can you imagine if you've put out a collection, you went back and they just messed things up? So what are some of the lessons you learned from this experience?
Failures in a business are expected. These minor setbacks are expected. I need to level my expectations, especially when dealing with other people and suppliers. Like there's some things that you're not going to be happy about. But another thing is communication, like clear communication. So I've had to make it very clear to my manufacturer that I'm not happy. I am your customer. I'm not going to pay for a product that I wasn't happy about. And I will tell you. And yes, it might be a very hard conversation, but you need to have those hard conversations with your suppliers at the end.
Are you still with the same people then?
I might move on forward with them if they fix up on a couple of things. The first sample was amazing. The one thing that I will say when it comes to suppliers, we have more than one, because if one doesn't work out, at least you have a second one.
Plan B. Always have a plan B. So at least you've learned a lot of lessons, and I'm happy for you, and I do wish you the best in the future as a new business. What are some of the skills that you would say have helped you to get from November 2022 to now? What are some of those? If you just give us 3 of those skills.
I would call myself a highly organized person. That skill was refined when I joined, the corporate world. Attention to detail was key, especially now with my luxury brand. I have to have that. As we mentioned, I think time management and productivity. So I'm not waking up standing on to a 9 to 5. That was a massive shift for me. I have to wake up and actually create this discipline within myself and have new habits. Being my own boss has definitely taught me a good few things about myself that I didn't know I had. One of them being a procrastinator.
Do you have any questions you want to ask me, maybe about your business, or are there any gaps or things you would like to bounce off me now because you've got my attention?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're a lecturer and you mentioned business.
Business, entrepreneurship, digital business I've done.
I love that. What would you say to an individual who's launching sometime this year, maybe in terms of a pre-launch campaign or even a selling strategy? Like, what are your do's and don'ts when it comes to that?
Okay, so the first thing, because I was going to ask you your target audience. So obviously you need to know who your target audience are, and then you research to find out which platforms they would normally be on and at what times and how they consume content. Now I know, so if I ask you who are your target audience, what age range are you going for?
24 to about 40, 45. I get stuck with the 40 or 45.
So at least you've identified, because one thing we hate hearing is it's everybody. It can't be everybody. You can't. Because here's the thing. When you're doing your marketing and you start to pay for marketing, you have to be speaking to the right people. Because if you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to nobody. So now that you've identified the 24 to 45, then you'll be able to identify which platforms you're going on. And also the kind of people you're going to use in your marketing material, because they need to be reflecting this age range as well. So since you said 24 to 25, in the middle there, people have children, right? So maybe you want to feature mothers. There's a lot of pressure on women to look a certain way. Being able to emphasize the fact that this is African. So where you market, who you target So I don't know if you know, if you're doing any adverts on Instagram, Facebook, they'll be asking you for your target audience. What do you want them to look like? So I would, if I were you, just do an avatar of your ideal clients, and you can pick any age and just have a picture, what they read, where they go on holiday, what they like doing in their spare time, if they have any children, how much they earn. Have enough of that. So when you come to have your avatar start to advertise, you have an idea of who you're selling to. And right now, people are actually interested buying black. So I think this is a great time to be starting a brand. So I don't know if that's answered in terms of the marketing. Now, in terms of planning, obviously, you're to be ahead because you seem to be managing the challenges that you've had. Because once you start the business, it's going to be a lot. So I don't know if you can run the business and also do your social media and all of these things you need to do. You might need to get somebody. And then also a mailing list. Do you do email marketing?
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, you do? You have a mailing
Yes.
list? You're ahead of the game then, because that's also enough. Let people know exactly what you're doing.
I think mentors are great, and I'm looking for one.
Okay.
So yeah, greatly appreciate it. If you know of anybody, there's one thing that I've noticed when it comes to mentors, they don't specifically have to be within your field.
No.
It's just someone who's at a higher like corporate level, or anywhere where you want to see your business. So it could be
Yes.
even a property guy who's really good with numbers, because
Okay.
that's what you need. The business side of things, you have to be you need to have an understanding of numbers. So would you highly recommend getting a mentor, maybe within my field or even outside of my field?
It's interesting you should say this, because people always think, and I like that you know already that when you have a mentor, it doesn't need to be in your field, because sometimes people outside of your field can bring new ideas, things that you haven't thought of. We all have blind spots, so it doesn't matter. So what kind of thing would you want to train in? Would it be about the business itself? Would it be about accountability, marketing? What?
I would say finance.
Okay, finance.
Marketing. Yeah, but also somebody who's very strong with selling. Like we mentioned, if you're not selling, it's just a hobby. You have a very expensive hobby. And I feel like when somebody's really good at that, you can get various ideas from this individual and implement them. So yeah, so I've actually just invested into a bit of things, so somebody will be helping me with that. And super happy about that. It's essential for a business, to market your brand well. Now, yeah, a mentor would be great. And I was willing to mentor me, DM me, email me.
I'll put it in the link below. And if anybody's watching, come on, guys. If you are an experienced marketer, finance, and you want to mentor this young lady, come on. You've heard her story. She's done so well so far. So please hop in my DMs, her DMs. We're going to leave all the links below so you can contact her. And I'm happy to be accountable in terms of time. So if it's productivity and time, I don't mind. So we can meet like once a month or about half an hour. I'll give you my time. So accountability, because when it comes to time management and accountability, I'm your girl. I can't stand it. People don't deliver on time. And if you don't mind me, calling you out on your excuses, I'll be doing that.
It's actually needed. It is needed. The beginning of my journey, I was making up a lot of excuses. And then I realized, okay, I'm the problem. I need to fix that up. So yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
What would you say to someone who's maybe thinking or has started and obviously struggling, because there's so many balls to juggle starting a business?
Yeah, just do it. Honestly, just do it. Like,
do it now.
Yeah, exactly. It can be done and you can do it. You can have like 1,000 excuses, and finances should never be an issue. And people are willing to give you money. You'd be very surprised. I'm with the Prentice Trust. So if you're between the ages of 18 and 30, they help you out. They give you some help, like a mentor that you can meet, every month or so. And then they give up to 5,500 in grants, so you never have to pay them back.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I like the fact that it's not overnight success, because you started in 2022, we're in 2024. So people need to be mindful. Consistency is a journey, not a destination. People want it overnight. You go on Instagram, TikTok, and people feel that, oh, it happened overnight. This is reality. It takes a long time, and you still haven't launched, but you're on that journey. And I would definitely commend you for your consistency and stickability, because you need that in business. So thank you very much, and thanks for coming to my channel. Hope you had a good time, And thanks for sharing your journey with us. And guys, thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.